Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, 3-year-old boy killed, 6 wounded in St. Mary's stabbing attack. A 3-year-old boy is dead and 6 other persons injured after they were stabbed and beaten by a man said to be of unsound mind at Paji, Port Maria, St. Mary on Wednesday. He has been identified as Asha Campbell. Another child is among the wounded. The attacker, who recently arrived in the island from the United States, is in custody. It is reported that Asha was walking with his mother and other family members in their community when the man armed with a knife and a construction steel attacked him. 4 of his relatives, including his mother, were injured when they tried to assist. Superintendent Bobette Morgan Simpson, head of the St. Mary Police, says the unprovoked incident occurred sometime after 4 p.m.
7 persons were attacked by a male. Of the 7 persons attacked, 1 child, a 3-year-old boy, succumbed to injuries that he received during the attack. He suffered severe injuries. This is really a tragic incident, and the person who is involved is not really somebody who has been in the space for a while, for any long time, recently in the space. So it's really a tragic incident that has affected the entire community.
One of the victims, Philip Brown, was treated for wounds to his head, face, and hands.
The road we just come from in the evening, and by the time we catch my gate, the man Mr. Rush come lick me down from back here with a piece of iron and start lick me. And me 2 and me have to use a bar in my head. But the man from mash up. I'm going to do the man. I don't even know the man. Where he come from?
Kartel and the co-accused remain behind the bars. Dancehall star Vybz Kartel and the 2 of his 3 co-accused will remain behind the bars after a judge rejected the habeas corpus application submitted by their attorneys Thursday. Supreme Court Justice Andrea Thomas handed down the ruling a short while ago. In denying the applicants, Thomas said in the absence of a verdict or acquittal by the Privy Council, the charge of murder remains in effect. In view of the fact that their appeal is not yet determined, they should remain in custody until their appeal is concluded, that is until a verdict of acquittal is entered or there is a decision for a retrial, Thomas said. On Wednesday, members of the prosecution and the defense made arguments in Kartel's habeas corpus case, which would have determined whether the artist would have been freed. Lawyers representing Kartel and the 2 of his 3 co-accused filed the habeas corpus application seeking their release on Monday, May 14, because of issues the defense did not wish to disclose. The application follows the Privy Council's March 14 ruling that Kartel and his co-accused have their convictions overturned for the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. The Privy Council had ordered that the case be returned to Jamaica's appeal court to decide whether a retrial is necessary for Kartel and his co-accused Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John. The Privy Council's ruling followed an appeal made in February by lawyers representing the then convicts who argued various grounds, including the admissibility of telecommunication evidence, allegations of jury misconduct, and the pressure on the jury to reach a verdict. Since the ruling, the artist has remained in prison. Shortly after, Kartel questioned the need for a retrial in his statement to Fox 5 News, saying, "I feel victorious in this very moment, as the Privy Council in their infinite wisdom understood the assignment and remedied the situation by quashing my conviction. I am now back to being an innocent man in the eyes of the law. A grave injustice was done to me and my co-accused in the original trial, and my cries were heard in the land's highest court." He added, "I am confident that the Court of Appeal in Jamaica will do the right thing in the name of equity, fairness, and justice, and free us. Some people have expressed their concern to me that a retrial may be ordered, but to them, I say, albeit with my limited knowledge of the law, what is there to retry?" In April 2014, Kartel was sentenced to life in prison with eligibility for parole after serving 35 years of his sentence. His co-accused were also handed life sentences, with Sean Storm and Jones being eligible for parole after serving 25 years and St. John being eligible after serving 15 years. 2 people killed in Westmoreland crash identified. 2 people are dead following a motor vehicle collision along the Linders Hill Main Road in Westmoreland on Wednesday. They have been identified as the 37-year-old Matthew Hutchinson of Rough Lane, Glendevon in St. James and the 28-year-old Shade Bennett of Watchwell, St. Elizabeth. Reports from the Withorn police indicate that about 11:30 a.m., Mr. Hutchinson was driving a Toyota Succeed motorcar when he overtook a line of traffic and collided head-on with a Toyota Axio. That collision resulted in an International ProStar truck colliding into the rear and the left side of the Toyota Succeed. The Toyota Succeed continued in the right lane, which resulted in a third impact with the right front section of another truck before coming to a stop. The police were summoned and the injured persons were taken to hospital, where Mr. Hutchinson and Miss Bennett, who was a passenger in the Toyota Axio, were pronounced dead. While bemoaning Wednesday's deadly crash, Vice Chair of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones, said that the country is on track to rival last year's staggering figure of 425 fatalities. As of May 25, the 170 road fatalities now barely trails last year's figure of 174. Dr. Jones said swift action must be taken to quell the carnage on the country's roads.
Unless something dramatic happens, we are heading back to the 425 persons who died last year, which would be an absolute disaster. Cameras are to be introduced to detect speeding and red light infractions, because we do know that we don't have enough police to be stationed all over the island to monitor the speeding which is taking place in so many parts of the country. We need to upgrade the breathalyzer system, because the data is coming out which is contrary to what takes place internationally, that we have a very low rate of those who are involved in crashes or traveling on the roads who have been caught driving under the influence of alcohol. The international rate for those who are involved in fatal crashes is about 30%. It's extremely low in Jamaica. And part of the reason is that we have not been able to test their drivers for alcohol. And that's something that we are working on with the Ministry of Health. If all these measures are put in place, then it would have an impact on driving behavior and consequently an impact on the amount of people who are dying in our country. We cannot continue to lose so many young lives or any life at all in this country. And if these measures are instituted and the promised funding from traffic fines for a serious and high-level public education, along with an increased level of enforcement, we will have an impact. To the extent that it is delayed for whatever reason, then we'll continue to have this kind of mayhem and carnage on our road.
Operations underway in Tivoli Gardens after men fired at police. Several operations were carried out in Tivoli Gardens in the Kingston Western Police Division in search of men who fired on a police team on Thursday morning. One of the operations resulted in the seizure of a firearm. Senior Superintendent Michael Phipps, head of the police division, says about 3:30 p.m., the police responded to reports of explosions in Denham Town. The body of a man, identified as Randall Keith Douglas, of a Tivoli Gardens address, was found on Alberta Street in the vicinity of the Denham Town Police Station. SSB Phipps says officers were processing the scene when they came under attack.
The information we have gathered so far is suggesting that he was actually in the area and a call was made to persons and he was actually set upon, shot and killed. There was some information which was spreading within the Tivoli Gardens area that he was killed by the police. And we are theorizing that as a result of that misinformation, the guys came and they fired shots towards the police station, damaging 2 service vehicles. The security forces are within the Tivoli Gardens area, trying our best to at least locate the men who fired at us. And the security presence is heightened in and around the general Denham Town and the Tivoli Gardens area. We are advising that persons can traverse the area freely, but they should at some time be prepared for some delays due to the operation that is ongoing. But we are trying to make the area as safe as possible for them to traverse. This particular matter seemed to have emanated from a situation where some call was made from our lockups, our police lockups, that persons were to come and try to insert contraband inside our lockups. persons who were on the inside of the lockups may have sent message to rival gang members that these persons were expected to be coming in the area. And as a result of that, we are theorizing that they were set upon and this person shot and killed.
Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.